Hello and welcome to the PCM Tech Help Show. I am your host, Craig Chamberlain, and we are on PCM Tech Talk Live. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about some very interesting things, including, well, you know, all kinds of interesting things, including, is the BlackBerry chief? He says the Apple iPhone is old. In case you guys didn't know, apparently the Apple iPhone is old technology, according to the BlackBerry chief. Very interesting. Windows 7 is releasing a forced Service Pack 1 patch. So we'll have that to look forward to. Aren't we excited about that? Don't forget about the, what do we got going here? The Samsung Apple war warming up, and we got all kinds of stuff going on here. And we lost the EA, Electronic Arts CEO. I'm so disappointed. But on the main topic today, of course, we're going to be talking about whether or not you are properly prepared for virus removal. So we'll be discussing virus removal basics and what that means to you and how much work it'll be for you in the long run. Stay tuned to the PCM Tech Talk Live. Yes, we're broadcasting live from the main set today, which this is PCM Tech Help Show headquarters, for those of you who have been paying attention. Of course, you can't see my desk as of yet. There's a reason for that. It's quite nasty. And we're going to be talking about a lot of fun stuff today. I'm pretty excited. As I did in the opening segment there, it was awkward, but we're going to get better at this. I promise you. There's going to be real production value going on here. I do have a chat room. For those of you watching the show, you can have a nice little dialogue amongst each other. I'm going to change the format here a little bit, and that way you guys can kind of have conversations with each other while the show goes live. And afterwards, then I'll open the platform for questions, and you can ask your questions at the end of the show. They don't have to be about the topic. They can be about anything tech, because this is the PCM Tech Talk Live segment of the PCM Tech Help Show, and we discuss anything tech. So I encourage you guys to stay and participate. If you don't know where that's at, just go to PCMTechHelp.com/live, and it will bring you to the main live stream from livestream.com. So virus removal is a very interesting strategy or technique or tip that, or I don't know, procedure that a lot of us tech guys have gotten better at over the years, mostly because of the availability of free tools. Now, it used to be that you could not create a good virus removal solution without knowing what you're doing. Well, the tools have gotten so advanced and so powerful now that most of us, we don't even know what we're doing. But you guys who are just now getting into virus removal and what it's all about can now start to see the real benefits of powerful software tools. We have basically gotten to the point where we are obsoleted as tech guys when it comes to virus removal, unless it's a very, very deeply embedded virus in a very, very critical system. And for most users, virus removal is very simple. The basic philosophy is this. You have a virus that infects a particular part of your operating system. That particular part is usually a couple files or file associations, and a lot of times it could be something deeply embedded in it that just executes on its own in the background. Well, these scanning tools that are out there now, such as Malwarebytes, Super Anti-Spyware, ESET NOD32 online scanner, Kaspersky scanner tool. These free tools are actually provided now by a lot of the manufacturers, and they will allow you to basically completely remove viruses on your machine without dropping a penny. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about today, and it's very easy to do. So let's bring up my screen here so that we can actually take a look at what we're doing. So I'd like you guys to see what we're talking about here. There's a lot going on in my website. I got a whole bunch of tools here. Let's go to PCMTechHelp.com. PCMTechHelp.com. Actually, I'm going to switch to 3D Mix because essentially right now we want to see my entire screen is what we want to do. Okay, we want to make sure we're seeing the entire screen here. And what we're going to look at here is I have the download section, which is actually, they're all free downloads. I don't charge for any of my downloads at my website. And we're going to go to this, let's just click on the downloads link, because I got a whole bunch of downloads there. And rather than going through this little drop-down menu, which can be confusing and awkward for a lot of people, we're just going to go ahead and bring this up. Looks like I got some weird coding things going out there at the top. That's quite entertaining. Let me go down through here. We have anti-malware. Top left corner. This is basically the area we're going to be dealing with today. Okay, this top left corner here. And what we have here is we have the full suites at the top. Now, a full suite, by my definition, is something that runs what I call real, or what the industry calls real-time scanners in the background. These real-time scanners essentially will always be running in the background, and they will scan over every single thing you're doing while you're doing it, all the files and all that fun stuff. And if it finds anything malicious, it'll either flag it and ask you what you want to do with it, or it'll just automatically remove it, depending on the severity of it. That's these tools. Of course, I only recommend you have one suite at any given time. You should never have more than one antivirus suite at any given time, because you can get major performance issues. A lot of people do make the mistake when they're first doing antiviruses that like the more the better, right? Well, antiviruses use a lot of resources themselves, and if you start to blend them together, you get a lot of performance issues that start to occur when you try to do that. So usually you want to stick with one single software suite, and then you want to move on after that to something more scanner tool based, which goes down to this next area. Here, let me zoom in here so you guys can see what's going on here. This next tool here next section is removal tools. Here we have. And the removal tools are essentially standalone scanners. Now these you can run at any time. You can have as many of them as you'd like, but usually I only recommend making sure you have 1, 2, or maybe 3 of them on your system at any given time. So basically, antivirus or virus removal basics, the basic of virus removal, is utilizing these tools to remove viruses that are occurring on your machine at any given time. And these tools are very easy to use. So let's go ahead and get started on using, say, Malwarebytes. I believe I already have it on my machine. If I don't, we'll just download it here real quick. It doesn't look like I do. I probably removed it a little while before. And I'm going to open up Malwarebytes Anti-Malware. The #1 tool I recommend for people who are trying to remove viruses from their machines. I'm going to select the download link, and then I'm going to select the actual download, and that will bring us to download.cnet.com. That's pretty much where all my websites, all my download pages direct people to, is the CNET website. CNET is an awesome resource. They've actually kind of gone down a little bit recently. I've gotten a little frustrated with some of their bundled downloads. They bundle packages together, so that can be kind of irritating. But they still do a good job for hosting and things like that. So I went ahead and clicked download now, and we're going to actually download and install Malwarebytes here. Let's see what we got here. Save. And then if we do that, we're going to do execute, so we can actually execute our download. So Malwarebytes, I'm going to go through this tool, and essentially all the other 2 tools I'm going to recommend, they work the exact same way. So when we go through one of these tools, you pretty much got the idea of how they all work, because they all are structured the same. The layout's just a little different. So we'll select OK and click Next and click I accept the agreement. And this is free for personal use, by the way, not business use. So if you're going to use it for commercial purposes, you usually want to make sure you have a licensed copy. It's very important. And I'm going to just go through all the menus, click Next. They're pretty self-explanatory if you've done an installer. Now, it will give you the option to enable the free trial of Malwarebytes. You can do that. It's a great product. It's very inexpensive. I think it's $20 a year. So that's a good deal. And it'll actually run a real-time shield, which is very similar to a suite, but not as comprehensive. I'm going to go ahead and disable it. And I usually want to do the update and the launch simultaneously. Usually you want both of them on there simultaneously, which is at the same time. So let's see what we got here. Okay, it's connecting to the server to download my updates. So far, so good. Downloading updates. Always make sure you update your definitions before you actually run a install or any kind of scan, if you can. Sometimes viruses will lock you out of this. So that's when things get a little dodgy. A little more difficult. Okay, now we're greeted with the Malwarebytes anti-malware interface. At this point, you can do what's called a quick scan, a full scan, and a flash scan. Flash scan is basically anything running in the memory at any given time. Quick scans are for people who are doing regular, let's make sure there's nothing kind of bit buggy going on, and just to kind of get a feel for the system. Like, I'll boot this up, I'll run a quick scan the first time around on the Malwarebytes software. And the quick scan will, if it finds one item, I'm like, okay, I need to run a full scan. So like a quick scan is more like a litmus test to see the health of the system. Because if you run a quick scan and Malwarebytes finds a lot of viruses, then there's probably a lot more if you run a full scan. So I usually recommend running the quick scan because it's substantially quicker. And then after you've done that, then you perform a full scan. And then that'll actually move you into the more detailed, in-depth analysis. It'll scan all the files in your system and everything, It'll be really kind of cool. Now there's some other things here, and it's very straightforward. You run the scan, it finds the stuff, and you go through there and you click clean or remove. If it's a deep infection or if it's in memory, the virus is, it'll prompt you to reboot the computer. You'll reboot the computer, boot it up, it'll remove it as it boots up or before it boots up, and you'll run a full scan again. Usually that's what I do. Usually you don't have to, but that's what I do. And then you can move on to your next scanning tool. For the most part, though, this will take care of most of them. Malwarebytes is, amongst the IT circles, like one of the #1 locators or definition collectors of antivirus definitions in the market. So when you actually go into this and you actually run Malwarebytes, it will find a lot of them. Now, this won't find all of them, of course. Finding one comprehensive solution is very difficult to do. And, you know, viruses are all different. So different companies have different approaches. So that's pretty much all there is to this software. I mean, you have the protection. This is more for pro. You can get the pro features. You can go to update, quarantine, kind of keep track of everything else that's going on. But really, you're going to want to run a quick scan and a full scan. And then we're going to move on. Okay, so you've already downloaded Malwarebytes and you've installed it, and then back at my website we can go to here and we can actually download another tool. Now Malwarebytes was the first one that I downloaded. The second one I usually recommend is called ESET NOD32 Online Scanner. Now the ESET NOD32 Online Scanner is a comprehensive scanning tool, so let's go ahead and load it here. I know I told you I was only going to show you one, but this one's really, really valuable. I call it ESET NOD32. Of course. It's having trouble locating the download on my website. It's a work in progress, my friend. So we're just going to Google it. NOD32 Online Scanner. My link is probably just, I've been updating my navigation quite a bit, so it's probably just buggy for now. I'll fix it, I promise. Okay, now you just go to the website. It's just eset.com/us/online scanner. And then there's a button right here that says Run ESET Online Scanner. So difficult. And it opens it in a browser, okay? It says you're trying to launch ESET in a different browser than Internet Explorer. Please agree to the download of the Smart Installer. And I have to just download the installer separately. That's all that means. Because I'm using, I'm currently using, what am I using? I'm using Chrome because I use Google Chrome. By the way, another great way to make sure you don't get infected is to download Google Chrome, also at my website. So I'm going to launch the installer here, and it's so easy to use. It's so incredibly easy to use. So I'm going to click Run, and I'm going to accept the terms of use and click Start. And then what happens is it instantly downloads the latest updates. Now, before I actually run this scanner, okay, I'm going to see, because down here in the corner it says right there, Start. I can just start my scan right away. And you're using ESET's main database that's included in their commercial software when you do this. It's awesome stuff. So if I go ahead and close this, I'm going to do something called safe mode. Okay, safe mode is kind of scary to people who've never really worked with it before. Safe mode is essentially a mode where you can boot up your computer in a diagnostic setting. Okay, and a diagnostic setting means it's just your core files. And what I like to do for ESET NOD32 and the Kaspersky scanner is I like to run them in safe mode. So I just click the Start menu here, and in the search you got to type in msconfig, msconfig. Okay, msconfig will allow me to do what's called selective startup. You have to go to boot, and then there's a checkbox here. It's called safe boot, and you want to do minimal. And that's it, actually. Minimal. No, you want to do network. I'm sorry, do network. Because if you do network, it'll actually let you download the latest updates as well. So if for any reason you can't open these software packages because of your virus that you have on your machine, you want to do a safe mode with network, and then click OK, and it'll reboot your computer in network mode, so basically safe mode with networking, and then you can launch these tools from there. 9 times out of 10 that actually allows you to do that when the software's locked you out of the system. So in either case, once you've opened it, it'll look a lot like, I think I've actually closed it. Let's see here, ESET NOD. See, I don't even think it installs it. That's one of the great things about the NOD32 online scanners. It doesn't install it as a full software package. So it actually does it runs it as a separate application, so it doesn't actually have to do a full install. So I'll do a run here, I accept the terms of use, and I click start, and it's going to check my downloads again, make sure I have the latest definitions, and then it'll go back, and then I just press start. I mean, that's it. You can do scan archives if you want, if you're really scared, and then click start right there in the bottom right-hand corner. That'll run through your full installation. And so we've basically ran 2 tools right now that have like some of the most reputable databases as far as finding definitions in the market, and we haven't spent a dime yet. That's one of the cool things. So if we go back to my free downloads page, we can go to the third tool I recommend, which is the Kaspersky tool. The Kaspersky tool is, of course, by Kaspersky, which is another great, awesome antivirus company that just basically is on top of all the definitions that are out there. And it's another free tool that they offer to people. And you'll just do the exact same thing you did with the other 2 tools. You probably want to run Kaspersky in safe mode as well. Malwarebytes, you usually don't have to. It's pretty good at getting around the whole corruption issue for profiles. But, of course, there's no absolute. So now we've removed it, and that's the virus removal basics. But there's one other thing you should definitely do before you move on, and that is go up to the full suite section and download a free antivirus if you don't already have a full suite on the machine. Now, I recommend Avast Home Edition. I did a video on it before on my live stream, and I like it a lot. The interface is very clean. It's got a lot of features. It's very powerful. It's got a great definition base. And so what you'll do is you'll just go in and you'll download Avast and you'll register it, and it's just your email. And you get a full year of the service for free. And then you're pretty much good to go at that point. Download the definitions, run another full scan. So you've ran 4 full scanners now. And if you still have a virus on your computer at that point, then you need somebody who's going to be going into more advanced virus removal topics. Because we're talking really big companies here, really big reputable companies here. And sometimes they'll find something. One of them will find the virus. You can write down the name of the virus if it has trouble removing it, because that can happen as well. So if you find a virus and it locates it and it won't remove it, write down the name of it and do some Google research. That's when you get into the more advanced, because sometimes you'll have to go into the registry, you'll have to recreate user profiles. There's a lot of intricate details that can kind of exist when it comes to getting into the more advanced aspects of virus removal. So that's it for basic virus removal techniques. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Basic virus removal is very simple. Pretty much anybody can do it now. It used to be that us tech guys were very, very useful, but software is quickly, not just in the virus removal arena, but in a lot of arenas, obsoleting us. So we're used to that. So I want to talk about a little bit in the news today. What are we at here? 17 minutes? 17 minutes past the hour. Compulsory upgrades to Windows 7 will start rolling out tomorrow. This is according to Zachary Lutz at TNW. Apparently, Windows 7 decided that if you didn't upgrade to Service Pack 1 yet, you're going to upgrade to Service Pack 1, whether you like it or not. So Microsoft has officially decided, yes, we know what's best for your computer. Of course, you can still lock it out if you've completely gone in and disabled Windows updates. But they are pretty much going to force people to swallow the Service Pack 1 update unless you've come up with some workaround for it. And that's to prepare for the Windows Blue update. For those of you who haven't really paid attention to that's been coming out. It's a big update, which I think is just another way of calling Service Pack 1. Service Pack 1 update is essentially a huge package of patches. Okay, Windows has done a better job stabilizing these packages, but I should probably go back to the actual full screen here, shouldn't I? But one of the big problems they have historically with these types of update packages is they've done kind of a terrible job of letting you remove certain updates that have caused problems for you, and that's one of the frustrating things that comes with the compulsory updates. I got paper now, guys. I'm official. So no compulsory updates, no thank you. I don't like you, Microsoft. Would have been fun, but never fun. Never fun. Apple-Samsung for war is heating up because the Samsung Galaxy S4 is coming out. I'm excited about this because I've never really seen Apple kind of sweat, and because obviously they've owned technically the mobile market for such a long time. And so this is kind of an exciting time for us IT guys because the big guy gets a challenger, you know, and that's, for us, we love it, you know, because we're like, all right, cool. So the more these two companies compete with each other, the better stuff we get. I mean, in the long run. So now if Apple's competing with Samsung and Samsung's competing with Apple, which apparently Samsung has this cool Wave feature now where you can actually do motion sensor or eye tracking, things like that in the Galaxy S4, all kinds of crazy features that are going to be in it. In the iPhone 5, they decided, okay, well, we better remind people why they love us. And so they released this advertising campaign saying, remember why you love us? We have a phone. It's Apple. You love us. Apple's a fun product, okay? I've had my iPhone 5 for quite some time. I do like the Apple product. Probably a good move to remind people why they bought it. Stability, app availability. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to buy an Apple phone. But when you got a competitor, a big-fisted competitor coming in here that's going to blow away your hardware specs, and you haven't really announced much on your iPhone 5S or your 6, you might want to go out there and remind people of why you're still hanging in there. Of course, I don't think they failed, but that brings us into the next awesome story that I read today. BlackBerry chief Heinz, it reminds me of Heinz Gruber from Die Hard, says, Apple iPhone old, no longer innovative. If that isn't calling the pot calling the kettle black, I don't know what is. So apparently, the BlackBerry chief is an authority on what is and is not innovative, which I guess technically he is an authority on it because everything they've made hasn't been. So essentially, he's correct. But no, he doesn't. Apple iPhone old. Yes, Apple iPhone is old. Okay, we get it. It's stable. It's reliable. Yes, I'm not an Apple fanboy by any means, but from BlackBerry, probably not a good move on your part. But they're only doing this because they announced that they're going to come out with a new phone, okay, which they've tried to do a couple times. But BlackBerry, a lot like Microsoft, has been historically behind the curve, and they wait way too long to break into a market, and BlackBerry is just another example of why you need to start paying attention, people. The tech market fluctuates and changes so rapidly. I don't understand why these companies, these big-name companies, just don't pay attention. Apparently, they think they're too big to fail. Sounds like some banks I know. Good stuff. And one of my favorite rant stories I read today, EA CEO John Riccitiello stepping down March 30th. Oh, we're going to be so sad to see you go. EA, amongst the gamers in the world, is notoriously the most frustrating company in existence. The track record alone with Mass Effect 3 and the travesty that occurred over the previous year, yes, I know. Some people are going to defend it, some people are going to attack it. We can go back and forth all day, but admittedly, EA isn't really known for taking a franchise and skyrocketing it into amazing perfection. They are known for taking a franchise and basically exploiting it. And that is exactly what they've done with pretty much every BioWare title since it's came out. But I'm going to give kudos to Mass Effect 2, which was fantastic. Mass Effect 3 was awesome. The ending just sucked. But Dragon Age, I've loved them. But will the 720 be any good? Dragon Age 3 on the Xbox 720? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust this company anymore. The fact that they're firing people is a good sign, or that people are quitting, but EA is just notorious for this. They're a consumer regurgitator. They make sequels, okay? Perfect example of EA. For those of you who aren't in the electronics arts loop of what EA does to video games, look at The Sims, okay? The Sims is a game that you go out and pay $60 for, and the game's not done. So then you pay $30 consecutively every 3 months after it's came out for the game to slowly get completed over the period of 3 years. And so by the time you finally bought the expansion packs after 3 years, you finally have a game that should have came out and really been one complete game to begin with. That's essentially the EA business model. And if they could do it with every franchise they own, they would. But they can't get away with it with all of them. The Sims in particular is a very, very popular product to do that with. I don't know why. They've just always gotten away with it. Never really understood that. So I'm actually all out of content already. It's like 9:24. I could really go through a show probably in about a half hour. But we can go back to the community page in the chat room. Like we said, we're going to open the floor to questions later in the show today. And if I can't finish the show, or if there's nothing else to talk about in the community, PCMTechHelp.com/live, we will actually move on. Now, actually, before I'll give us a topic of discussion because I've been thinking about this. It's been on my head. We have basically, and if you're not part of the live show, you can actually kind of just submit a comment or just post on the video actually on YouTube. It will go live on YouTube. Give me your thoughts on this. What do you think about keeping the chat room just exclusively for the community to engage with one another and opening up kind of like a submission of questions through like the community page? So in other words, the chat room would be more like a place of discussion for the show. And then that would be going on during the show, right? And then, but the questions would have to be posted at the community page where the website, where the video feed was posted. So that way people can actually post questions and they don't get flooded amidst all the community stuff. And we can kind of have them separated. So, I mean, I thought that'd be kind of a cool idea. The problem with this idea is I could do it there or I could do it on YouTube. But the problem with doing it on Google Plus is there's not a ton of people on Google Plus yet. It's still growing. I think they've hit like 1 billion people, but it's not that many. It's a lot. But they go there and they don't, they might be uncomfortable. They won't get to ask the question. So it's not where the video is occurring. So they'll have to go to 2 different places. So that'll be concerning. The other problem with YouTube is that I can't actually stream this video because it's in HD now, and YouTube doesn't support live streaming in HD. So I can't do it there either. So I'm kind of hitting a situation now where the community chat room has lots of information on it, lots of people talking, and I can't really follow it anymore, because there's just too much going on in the feed. And so we can kind of see how can we separate this. I'm open to suggestions. I'm always open to suggestions. So, but this is essentially the new set. Okay, this is the new show format, and it's an evolving thing. It's always an evolving thing, and I always appreciate you guys coming out. Now, the PCM Tech Help Show, basically, the premise of the show is we talk everything tech, everything free. We have the awesome community at pcmtechhelp.com/community, and those guys are my. I'm going to steal a line from Leo Laporte. They're my mind hive. Okay, these guys are smarter than I am in a lot of ways, and I can't keep all this stuff in my brain either. And I forget. I'm very forgetful. Very busy. I've got a wife, 2 kids, a job. I do this just part-time. And so, without you guys, I would be absolutely helpless. So, maybe you guys have some good experiences with some other options. So let's see what we got going on here in the chat room. I'm going to go here. A lot of people saying first and second. Looks like we have Viper back. Viper's a good guy. Craft Kick, welcome back. Jack B, welcome back. Steve Wheeler, welcome back. Tom Prokes, welcome back. Jack B, welcome back. Jack B looks like he suggested moving the camera down so you can see the desk a little bit. I thought about that. I'm going to kind of review this and see how it works. I originally wanted to do the show as kind of like a standing show. That's how I wanted to do it. Then I realized I have to stand. And it's kind of hard to control a computer and stand unless I get a desk that's like a standing desk. And so, I mean, I definitely got the space here now. I mean, as you guys can tell, the backdrop goes back pretty far. So I've got the space to work with back here. I've also thought about when I move on here, we're having lots of fun here, actually. Me and my video guy, he's the one who helped me come up with this solution. Chris Keyworth, got to give him a call out for that. But he helped me do this part of it. I mean, I put it together, but he helped me design it. But on the other side of the room, if you guys saw the behind-the-scenes pictures at the community, the other side of the room, I'm thinking about doing maybe a whiteboard setup, like a digital whiteboard, where I could, like, as I'm talking about a subject, I can illustrate what we're talking about, which would be kind of cool too. But I got some set space to work with here. I don't know what I'm going to do with the desk yet. Having the desk would be good, but I don't really like how the desk looks at the moment. It contrasts with the gray. I'd have to get a different colored desk. But right now, I think it's going okay. I'm getting shirts, though. T-shirts will be fun. So that'll be kind of cool. Good question, though. Yeah, I haven't played with the desk that much. Viper says, I usually remove crap or viruses by force taking ownership of the file, then force delete it. That's a very common way to do it, but that's more of an advanced virus removal technique. And a lot of people might be uncomfortable with that whole process. And maybe I'll cover on some more advanced virus removal techniques. But really, at the beginning of this video, that's really all you need to know. I mean, for virus removal, it's going to remove most people's viruses. Most people who have that kind of problem, that's pretty much all you need. Is you just need to be able to go in there, download some basic tools, run a full scan, make sure your tools are updated, do safe mode, and you're pretty much good to go. You've pretty much covered a lot of your bases on on basic virus removal at that point. Not a whole lot else to do beyond that. Rebel Do says, hey everyone. Hey Rebel, welcome back. Compton, welcome back. Viper, force delete a file in command by typing del. This is why the community is smarter than me in a lot of ways, and you guys should consider joining because they are awesome. del space file name /f/s/q. Make sure you put spaces between that. That's the command prompt, and most people don't even know how to get to the command prompt, but that is an excellent technique. If you go to the start menu, go to run. Actually, here I can bring it up on my screen. That's kind of why we did this, isn't it? That's why this is here. I can go to start and run. I can type in command. I can bring up the command prompt, and I can type in delete, and then my file name or the directory. Usually you have to type the whole location, like C:/my directory /file name dot extension or whatever, ext, whatever your file extension is. And then he says put these slashes. They're called, oh man, I'm getting a brain fart. What are they called, people? They're called parameters. Basically, you're passing parameters, okay? So it's /f/s and /q. And that will do a force delete of a file that you can't get rid of. So that's a really good advanced technique. So I guess technically, since we're not doing the basic techniques, we could talk about advanced techniques. That's a very excellent suggestion, and I appreciate the contribution there. It's always good to have additional people here talking about that kind of stuff. And that's from Viper. So, S Nintendog, welcome back. I finally found out how to use Livestream. Hey, welcome to the show. Livestream, it remains to be seen how long or how well it'll work, because the big problem I'm having now is promoting it to my YouTube channel, because my YouTube guys actually they don't even know right now that I'm live. See, it's hard to I got like 14 networks that I got to post all this content to, and it's very difficult to keep them all in the loop. And when I was originally doing the live stream on Google Plus, it would post that video to my YouTube channel, and then people could at that point actually follow the live stream. So it's going to be, that's one of the more difficult. I have like a workaround that I'm going to try, and then as I'm going to set up a second computer that's doing a second live stream. I thought it would be cool to do like a behind the scenes live stream. So like that one would be over there. Like I'd have a camera in the back of my room, okay? And that one would be just dedicated to the live stream, but behind the scenes. So people would see that on YouTube, but it would say in big bold letters at the top of the live stream, it's now in HD at pcmtechhelp.com/live. So they'd still be seeing a video streamed live, a behind-the-scenes video kind of thing, like behind the set. But then they would also, if they wanted to see the actual show, it would at least give them an idea of where to go to find that. So that's really cool. Viper, dude, Craig, you look so professional. Thank you. That is one of the best compliments I've received so far, because I actually, you get the set, you get the audio, you try. You don't know until you've seen the final product. There's still a lot of work to be done, but hey, we're making progress. We just started the live stream 2 months ago, so we're going to be advancing. I was talking to my buddy about this. Like I said, I work 50 hours a week, got 2 kids and all that. He's like, don't you ever get frustrated with how slow things progress? I'm like, yes, I do. I always get frustrated with how slow things progress. But, you're only one guy. Eventually you concede that there's only so much you can do. I'm technically doing 6 jobs. I'm doing the marketing. I can see a back feed of, you can't see it. I got a video feed of me back here, so I can actually see what you guys are seeing now, which is kind of cool. And I'm doing the audio because there's a mixer on here, but then I'm also doing the production because I have to be able to change the screen styles, but I also have to come up with content. So I have to write, and then I got to talk, and then I've got to, there's a lot going on here, and I'm not trying to say I'm amazing, but it suffers. The more you get spread thin, the more certain aspects of the show suffer. And so it's a difficult process of growing something like this without people available as resources. So that's part of the reason I invested so heavily in the community, because the community is a great way to kind of get people sharing and discussing content and helping each other out, because I had to give that part up because I don't have time to help people because I'm in the process of doing the show. So part of the reason you guys save me. You basically saved me. Neil Gard actually earlier today helped a guy out removing a very difficult to remove virus at the community page, and he gave him stellar advice. It was really good advice, and I just really appreciated it because I was like, man, somebody took care of him good. It's like, man, that's rough. So I appreciate the compliment, Viper. I'm pretty excited about the show myself. Tom says, hey, Jack. Well, everybody's saying hello. Craft Geek, does it lag a bit for you guys? Now, since we are streaming in 720p now, it will lag. Now, you can select in the bottom corner of the feed, you should be able to modify the quality. I believe it's the bottom corner. It's somewhere on this screen. You can change the quality of the video so that way you're not getting the high bandwidth streaming. But the show's uploaded to YouTube, pcmtechhelp.com/YouTube after the show, so you can actually watch it in HD then. Only downside is you can't comment, you can't really participate in the discussion or any of that, but it really depends on what you want to do. A lot of people just want to watch the show. So it really just depends. Viper finally knows why Microsoft got rid of the A drive. I'm actually not sure of why they got rid of it. Did they get rid of it? Didn't think they did. Oh, you mean the floppy drive? Well, nobody uses it. Floppy is like one of the most unreliable medias. The only great thing about floppy drives that I miss is the fact that you could do a lot of diagnostics through the floppy drive. It's so easy to pop in a flop. My age is showing, but it was so easy just to pop in a floppy disk, copy over a small 10 kilobyte executable file, stick it in a machine, boot it up, and it would boot right up. But see, now some BIOS systems don't support the flash drives, so then that doesn't always work, and some of them have trouble booting off a CD, or CD-ROM drives fail a lot more than flash drive. The floppy drives even failed. And so now it's like this haphazard, like, which one do I use? Most of the time CD is the most reliable, but now the diagnostic utilities have gotten too big for floppy, so it's just become a big mess. So floppy's quickly become obsoleted for me as well. So I can see why they don't mess with it. So that's something interesting. That's something interesting about it. Craig needs some light screens. I agree with that, actually. I'm actually seeing me on the screen right now. It's like I got this, like hello and welcome to the PCM Tech Help Show. Was that long enough to be awkward? That's what I was going for. But yeah, that's what it was like. Rebel Dew even says it's really bright. I'm very bright. It's because these lights right here, they're my face lights, very harsh on me. And my backlights aren't harsh enough. So really, I should probably switch those out. But like I said, I didn't know what to expect. First show with the new lighting and new set. Viper says, Slender Man. I wonder if that's me. Troy Williams. Hi, Craig. Teach me something, please. What did I learn today? If you're attempting to auto-tune a servo motor and servo drive using a Mint Machine Edition Baldor Mint drive over Ethernet, make sure that you open up the Mint Machine Center first, establish communications with your Mint drive, then connect to the Mint drive. Then you'll be able to actually upload the program to your PC so that you can actually write the software program and re-download it back into your drive so you can auto-tune the servo motor. Take that one to the grave and the bank. Awesome. Let's see what else we got here. In fact, I'm coding a batch crap removal right now. I'm naming it Command Decrapifier. I want you to share that one with the community because I just want to see how you coded it. I'd actually learn from that. I want to see the code though. As long as you're not stingy with the code. I don't want to just see the executable. They probably won't even let you upload the executable. Nintendog says that was a nice effect. Maybe he was talking about the transitions. That's one thing that's kind of cool about this software they have for this live stream is they got the awesome screen transitions that you can do, and it's a lot of fun to work with. So, did I add Audacity? No, I'm not working with Audacity because the last thing I need is another tool to accidentally screw up while I'm trying to work with my live stream. This is a lot easier to do not live because I can screw up and then I can just go back and then try it again. But it's not nearly as fun, so I can't really engage with you guys if it's not live. But I do need to go back to the non-live videos. I've talked about that yesterday quite a bit. But Craig, I need some help on bypassing the HTC G1 welcome screen, but the touch screen doesn't work anyway around this. HTC is an Android phone, so you have to use the Android hard reset probably. Oh, the touchscreen doesn't work. That's going to make it difficult. See, that's one of the big problems with those touchscreen. And I'm guessing it's a touchscreen menu as well, no keyboard, because it's a G1. I'm almost positive those don't have a keyboard on them. And so that's one of the difficult things about the touchscreens is you can't really get into your system anymore. I mean, I know you could probably get your files out if you just did your USB connection. So if your big concern is getting into the phone so that you can grab your data out of it, I did just download an application today. It was called, it was by Wonderware. Wonderware, I think. Wonderware. Mobi, what was it called? Mobi Transfer. Apple to Android transfer software. What the heck was the name of it? I downloaded it today. It was okay. A lot of people were talking about how great it was, and I hate when people do that. They thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Actually, I need the iPhone. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because sometimes you just need to get a tool that will help you get your data off of your phone, and then you're just going to have to move to a new phone. Hopefully you got insurance, because that should be covered. Unless you dropped it in the water, that's never covered. Should have put it in a grain of rice. Let's see what we have here. What the heck was the name of that software? And I'm not going to find it now. You watch. It was such a weird name. See, that's one down thing. That was why my show sucked at the beginning. It's because it was called PC Michiana. And nobody knew how to spell, so nobody could find me. And so now I'm having trouble finding this company. If you're going to start a company, make sure the name is easy to say and very familiar, because that will save you tons of headaches down the line of having to rebrand your product. Because I'm still looking for it. I can't find it anywhere. What a nightmare. iPhone and Android. Apple to Android. Transfer. That's what I did. It's just going to drive me crazy if I don't do it right. Ah, PC Advisor. I think this was it. This was the suggested article. It's not going to work. Nope, I can't find it. That's unfortunate. Maybe somebody at the community's seen it. But you want to look for a online free software grabber, data transfer utility. You can transfer your contacts, your text messages, all of your documents, your photos, your videos, and you can pull them all off of your phone and put them right into another phone, or you can just put them on your computer. So, and then you can actually, at that point, reuse and get all your files back, which is usually the best thing you can do in that situation. Because I can't think of anything else you really have an option for, to be honest with you. That's unfortunate. I wish I had better advice. Somebody else might, but I unfortunately do not. Rebel Dew says, "Hi, Tom." Hi, Tom. That was weird. Compton Sue says, "Yes, Viper." Viper says, "Oh, you should do TDSS Killer." I've heard of it. TDSS Killer. Maybe somebody has an idea of what that is. TDSS Killer. What is this, people? Teaching me something new every day, which is why we're here. Ah, it's a malware killer. Possible disinfect the system infected with malware using the utility TDSS Killer. Another suggestion, because we talked about virus removal basics, and this was from Viper as well. Good suggestion. I would like you to share that link with the community, if you will, pcmtechhelp.com/community, and we can use this tool to do other types of infection removals, also from Kaspersky. So they got the virus removal tool and the TDSS Killer, which is a malware removal tool. See, we like free stuff for the community. It's what we always do. How's your big dog drive? It's running good. I got an external drive. For those of you guys who are asking, I got an external 1 terabyte drive, and I synced it with Google Drive, and it's an awesome experience. At first, it was a little frustrating. I had some issues with it, but it turns out that was a driver related to Dropbox, because I had Dropbox and Google Drive installed at the same time. It actually ended up causing a conflict, and it didn't work. But what you can do is and let me show you guys here real quick. It's really cool. I picked up Google Drive, which is right here. It's a desktop app. You just go to Google, just type in Google Drive into Google. I'm going to show you this first, because this is awesome. And you go to Google Drive, just go to the website. It's free 5 gig storage, and we're just going to do learn more. And it won't let me learn more until I sign in, which isn't good. So let's go back, because I don't want to sign in. So it's too much work. And let's see if I can just download the PC app. There's essentially a PC app. Here it is. There's a PC app that lets you download and install the application on your computer, and it creates a drive on here called My Drive. Okay, so if I pull this up, I've got Google Drive. Okay, shows up right there in your favorites, right after you've installed it. Now, anything I store on here gets synced to Google Drive. Okay. And what I did is I moved all my libraries on there. All my documents are on here now. They're all stored as backup. They're all backed up onto the Google Drive. But they're also stored locally on my physical drive, which is really kind of cool because at work, I connect to the same drive and it actually pulls all the documents back down onto my other computer. So I actually work with the same documents right through Google Drive. Now, of course, I paid for the extra storage. So I got 200 gigs for like $10 a month or something like that. It was really cheap. But what I could do is I have an external USB drive connected now for this Google Drive, and basically that gets synced to the cloud and backed up on the cloud. I've got it on my phone. I've also got it on my desktop at work. So it works seamlessly. If I update a document here, I go to work, it's updated there, and it's on my phone. So that's a really cool feature. So and I just wish more people knew about it. Maybe I'll do like a tutorial on that, how to set all that up. Because it's a really fun thing to do, because now I have access to all the same information no matter where I'm at. And if any of my computers fail, I've got all my data backed up on the cloud. So it's really pretty cool. Welcome, S Nintendog. Everybody's welcome. CNET is nice, but I hate its installer. I was talking about that earlier. CNET, for those of you who don't know, I'm surprised if you don't know, but CNET is one of the huge download. If you go to download.com, they own it. And they used to be really reputable for just hosting the most recent release of downloads. That was when I started using them for my website. But now, for really popular software, they started to bundle them together with a CNET installer. And the CNET installer essentially bundles other junk with it. And so now I'm going to have to migrate away when I get spare time, migrate all of my downloads away from CNET. And it's not all of them. It's like 2 or 3, but I'm going to migrate all of them just because. Goes to show you what happens when you do that. We don't backlink as much. That they started doing that. It was really frustrating. So that's something to be aware of. If you download a software package from CNET and it says it's a CNET installer, just make sure you check and uncheck the appropriate boxes. Actually, you should be doing that now anyways. A lot of companies will wrap up malicious and frustrating software together with all the other software. And it slips by. They're so sneaky. They're like, if you don't want to install this software, do not, maybe not, possibly, maybe, yes, don't, I want to not install to check this box. And then you're like, I'll just leave it default. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But they're getting sneaky. They're getting very sneaky. Everyone's pretty much talking about the same thing here now. They're like, yeah, you got to make sure what's installing and all that, and it's so very true. A lot of people don't like the people. Wow, a lot of hate on CNET, and it's like I said, I'm not a huge fan anymore. I used to be. They used to be a lot more reliable, and it's very unfortunate. Apparently, this is the biggest pain in the A drive. It's kind of good. Good one, Viper. What did I miss? J-Ray, I don't know, you have to go back and watch it. From the other sources like Softpedia, I was thinking of moving to Softpedia, maybe FileHippo, Major Geeks, one of those 3. If you guys are looking for reliable websites, they have really good downloads there as well. But some of them still have installers as well, like Viper just said. Any other questions? Let's go up here. Use Chrome. A lot of people use Chrome. Awesome. Something wrong with that? Oh, somebody was surprised that a girl was here. I'm surprised too. Welcome. Actually, this brings up a funny topic. I discuss it with my wife often. If a girl wants to be worshipped, all she has to do is play video games and date a nerd. Unfortunately, we're very easy to walk on top of. I mean, walk over. It was our fault. We did. We're sorry. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. All the violent games we play just do not reflect whatsoever on any level the reality of our personalities. Really, it doesn't. And I keep forgetting to transition back to the main screen here, but What a mess. What a mess. We are an interesting group, us geeks. Compton Sue says, safe mode is great. I love safe mode. Rebel Dew says, Craig, I saw your how-to video, your energy report video. I've performed power management report under Windows 7 using the power config-energy command, using an elevated command prompt and HTML report. And he stopped. He stopped talking after that. Well, he's referring to a video that I did on generating a power efficiency report. It's actually built into Windows. If you pull up the command prompt, you can type in POWERCFG space dash, what was it? Dash energy. It'll actually generate a report for you, an HTML web-based report, and it'll actually tell you where all your battery usage is going for your computer, and you can adjust your settings accordingly. And so that's kind of a cool built-in tool nobody even knows about for Windows 7. And I did a video on that a while ago. It was very interesting to see what happened there, but it was pretty popular, I guess. That one, it's not something you just find every day. It's kind of interesting. Everyone thought it was weird that was a girl here. See, no better way to scare off the other people than to make a big deal out of it. The report was indeed created in System32 directory. My problem is that it can't be viewed with any browser. That's interesting. So that actually finishes his question. So he created the report, then he couldn't open it up in any browser, a .html file. Well, there's really no reason for that. You might have to rename the index file that's generated by the report into a .htm, but there's really no reason it shouldn't open in a browser. I've tested it on Chrome, Internet Explorer, and I think Firefox. I've done it on all three. So really, it should have been able to open. Should have been able to open it. Looks like the Kaspersky tool is free. S910Dog says Kaspersky, that's free. The software isn't. The full antivirus isn't free. I don't think so. Solution for me is simply to move the HTML file to System32 directory and open it. Also, it wouldn't open the file. It wouldn't let the browser open it in the System32 directory. Okay, so you solved your own problem. That's good news. Avast, AVG, and Avira are nice. Yeah, they're all pretty good, actually, as the antiviruses. Avast is my favorite because I think the user interface is sleeker. I think it performs a little better than AVG and Avira. Avira has too many ads. That's one of the big frustrating things. These are the free antiviruses we were talking about at the beginning of the show. The Avast antivirus is really comprehensive and it doesn't annoy you all the time. It does say upgrade, it does the upgrade notifications. But Avira is horrible. They do it all the time. It's pretty rough. And AVG is about in the middle ground. I don't think it performs as well. I don't think the definitions are as good as Avast, but it's still a good product. It's better than nothing. Scum sucks, silly Shirley loads. Is he done preaching? Never. Viper says, me? Who? Craig. Never. Never be done. Never. I can preach about preaching. He be teaching, says Nintendo. I don't know about that. No, he does this every day before we start the tech talk. Now he is. SS, leave him alone. Oh, come on now. You don't have to... Guys, you don't need to defend me. Seriously, I'm not really that worried about it. Craig, what do you think of your new setup, and what are the differences between Windows RC and RTM? RC, actually, I think, is just for mobile. I think RC is like for mobile platforms. You're going to really test me today on that one because it's something very subtle. But I know Windows RC is released in a lot of embedded hardware. It's like for HMIs, touchscreens, little mini computers. It's like a very lightweight, basic package. Whereas the RT is for, hang on, let's see. It's a release candidate is what it is. See, I have to look this up. So I have to look up some of this stuff. I don't know it all, obviously. That's obvious. It's hard to really find anything substantial. You're not alone in your search failure. As the RC was feature complete with the path to RTM, it only consisted of bug fixes. So nothing has changed except for errors, bugs, and glitches. So it's just two different releases of the base unit. Because I know RC is, I've seen it in a lot of actual hardware where it's like the Windows embedded is basically what they call it. But RT and RC and RTM, I guess, are about the same. That's actually a good question. I haven't actually been asked that before, and I never really looked into it. But I'll be curious to see if anybody knows anything more about it. But it doesn't look like there's going to be much. I don't know what my service pack is. Actually, if you can check your service pack. Let's pull that up here. It's very easy to do. Just pull up your desktop. Right-click on computer, select properties. I'm going to do that again because I did it too fast. Right-click on computer, then select properties. Under Windows Edition, it will say which operating system you are running. Service Pack 1 will be displayed if you have installed it. That is all. If you haven't installed it, of course, you can just download it using Windows Update. Go to update.windows.com, and hopefully you have, because there's no reason not to get it, to be honest with you, unless it causes issues with your system for some reason. Viper says, Windows Blue, no! Yeah, well, see, I'm not all that enthusiastic about Windows updates either. So, Viper says he doesn't have any service packs, so that'll be rough. Might want to get those. Tom Proke says, will there be a service pack 2? Probably. It really depends on if they're going to release it for Windows 7 or not. That I don't know. It just really depends. I think there will be, because I think Windows 7 is going to be the dominating operating system after 8 kind of dies off for the desktop market. Because even the big manufacturers of desktops now don't even want to touch Windows 8 unless they're getting lots of money from Microsoft to push the licensing. I mean, even Microsoft's charging outrageous prices to make sure you're trying to buy Windows 8 instead of Windows 7. I mean, it's like $300 now for Windows 7 Professional. It's insane. So, Compton Sue is probably Tom. I accidentally deleted the weird file on my computer called Craig.exe. Good luck with that. Rebel Dew says, EA stuff. I love EA. Dead Space 3 and Mirror's Edge are awesome, Craig. You got to play these games. Now, here's the thing about EA. I'm not saying everything they release is bad. But notice that you said Dead Space 3. They're a big sequel company, and they're very big on not creating new products. Granted, Mirror's Edge was, but if you go into the past on the games that you love and EA's name is on it, it's usually because they acquired a company who had a lot of talent and they exploited said company for their talent, forced them with crazy deadlines to meet unrealistic expectations, and the product suffered as a result. And unfortunately, we as gamers suffered because we spent $60 on it only to see it slowly die. But the good news is when that happens, those people usually end up leaving that company and going working for another independent company and then creating a whole new game. So I guess it all comes full circle eventually, but EA is not really known for its reputation of making good on their promises with high-end developers. So Gary Pretty, hey, welcome to the show. Standing is a pain. Wow, I'm only that far back, huh? People can't tell who's who anymore. I'm going to go ahead and shoot up through here because I'm like way behind, guys, and I've only got 2 minutes left. So people are like, go HD 3D, says Troy Williams. Wow. I don't think my computer can handle it. My computer right now can't even support 1080p. Actually, Livestream.com has the capabilities. I have a Core i7 quad-core processor. It barely handles 720p. That's how many resources video rendering on the fly takes. It's quite intensive. Quite intensive. So, Viper was watching in 480p. Sorry, dude. Looks like a couple of people are talking to each other. A lot of people hate floppies. Suck 'em, silly Shirley Loads. That's a very traumatizing name, but I like it. I hate floopies. That's awesome. I miss floppies. A lot of people listen. I miss floppies too. I can go on a rant about it. I still got a whole pile of them, at work. It's nostalgia more than anything else. I miss Nintendo, for crying out loud. But we'll see what they come up with next. You're absolutely right. We don't want to hear about you flopping your floppy, yes, Nintendo. These chat room people are crazy. Holy Boy's watching on his iPad. I'm glad to hear that I'm working on mobile. Glad to hear it. Hope the quality's good. And then I think the C in CNET stands for crap, as in crapnet. I think C is in C for C killer used to be crap killer. That was a big thing with that, actually. So that was kind of a big deal. Let me scroll up here. Maybe turn down your ISO on your camera. My camera is actually a tiny little... Like, look, I can actually fit my finger around the lens. That's about how big it is. That's about how big it is. So I can't really adjust anything ever. I've got a really nice camera that I have to figure out how I'm going to get the feed into my... It's like the cameras, as they get nicer, you need more equipment to make it actually work with a computer. Like, oh, you bought a nice camera. Yeah, that won't work with your computer. You need a nice converter so that you can convert the camera into the signal that your computer will understand. That'd only be $10,000. That's how it works. Holy Boy says, Craig, thanks for the tutorial on the dual boot series. You're welcome. I like doing the dual boot series. That was one of my favorite ones, actually. I braved that one. I didn't know what I was doing half the time. Admittedly. Rebel Do says, yes, there's a keyboard on the G1, so I'm wondering if you can just do like a system white. But even then, I don't think you can get away with getting very far. Even if you got past the keyboard screen, how would you really navigate the screens? I guess you could use the little arrow on it. Bypassing the unlock, man, I don't know. I honestly do not know how to do that. That's a good question. How to bypass, if your touchscreen fails on your phone, how do you bypass it? I'm still going back to saying what I was saying earlier. If your touchscreen isn't working on a touchscreen phone, you may want to just consider buying an old phone on eBay. I mean, get an app, pull the data off of it, get an old phone on eBay. You can get a basic Android phone on eBay now for like $50 to $100. A pretty decent one. Look at the Droid X's. You can get a really nice Droid X now for like $70 on eBay. I mean, I know it's not cheap, but it's pretty powerful for that kind of money. So, SourceForge is reliable. I agree with that. That's from Viper. Holy Boy says, one question concerning the dual boot series. I only have a CDR to write the image on for the boot US application. Will it still work without a CDRW? Not unless you purchase the license. If you purchase the license, I think it was $10 from the Boot US software. For those of you who don't know, Boot US was a boot manager that I used in my dual boot series where I showed you how to boot up multiple operating systems on a single computer. Okay, that's at the YouTube channel, pcmtechhelp.com/YouTube. Now, essentially, after you've set up both operating systems, you have to have a tool that loads when you turn on your computer to select which one you want to use. Okay, Boot US was the one I used in that tutorial, and you had to use a floppy disk at that time to actually have it pick it up. But if you buy the Boot US license, it'll actually let you write it to the master boot record of your main operating system, so that way it starts on its own. So you don't actually need an external drive. So the CD should work, though. If you burn an ISO image, it should work. As long as you've set up your BIOS to boot from CD-ROM. S1010 Dog, how do you feel about Watchdog routers? I don't really see a whole lot of benefit in it unless you're doing like high-end networking. I know a lot of people they swear by like these high-end routers. You know, oh, it's got traffic control, it's got all this bandwidth control. I'm like, well, the average user over the counter, no real application or use for it. Watchdog routers are essentially a good way to make sure that you're getting reliable information, but I guess for higher end systems, that's important. But there's so few, in my opinion, applications that require that would need it. So we'll see how it goes. It's a good question. Still work without a CDRW? Should. Yeah, should still work, Holy Boy. Suck 'em silly Shirley. Loads. I love geeks. Craig's right. Hugs. That's why we're here. Sorry, guys. Live stream will not let me delete comments on the iPad. That's okay. The more comments, the better. The more you help the show, actually. So just start talking. It's awesome. As long as you don't annoy people. You don't just randomly flood. Actually, that's exactly what Viper did. The comments flood. What's your thoughts on Anonymous? Anamos. It's a pseudonymous encrypted multi-peer-to-peer file distribution protocol. It is based on the peer tracker concept of the BitTorrent and Comedy. You know, I'm thinking of the comic book guy from Simpsons when I say this. What are your thoughts on Atomos? It's a pseudo-anonymous encrypted multi-peer-to-peer file distribution protocol. It is based on the peer/tracker concept of BitTorrent in combination with an onion routing anonymization layer with the added benefit of end-to-end encryption. My answer is yes. I have no idea what you just said. I mean, really, I'd have to sit down and read and analyze what you just... I would have to research your paragraph before researching the answer to your paragraph. Happens to all of us. I can't answer that question. I actually don't keep up on the protocols, the latest and greatest. Actually, the only protocol I did actually notice has been going on, actually I'm like way over today, is the H.265 encoding, which is the new Netflix encoding, which means they're going to stream 4K. They're going to be able to stream 4K, which is the new resolution above HD, which really only makes a difference if you have a 55-inch screen or higher. But if they can stream that high, which by the way is 8-megapixel video, which is 4 times the size of Blu-ray, if they can stream that much bandwidth on this new encoding, imagine how much better our Blu-rays are going to be. We're going to get perfect Blu-ray quality now, people. Streaming. I'm so excited. So excited for that. So that's the only protocol I'm up on, actually. It's the only one I've watched. So complicated, says S Nintendog. Yeah, it was confusing. I was confused. Raul Do says, onion routing... Oh, we already said that. S Nintendog. I like Mirror's Edge. It was fun. Cool. Viper's flopping too much. That's confusing. Craftkick says, yay, CyberPower just arrived in the door 5 minutes ago. Awesome. CyberPower PC is the company that I recommend you buy your PC from. They don't even pay me. I should actually go to them and say, you should be paying me, by the way. I get you customers, people. If I ever get big enough to get sponsors, maybe I'll do that. But looks like Craftkick went out and bought his CyberPower PC. My laptop's a CyberPower. And hopefully you like it. Let us know how it goes. Make sure you come back and tell us. I want to know. That's awesome. Everybody's excited for you. I'm really happy for you. That's awesome. Time's up, says Tom Prokes. You are absolutely right. Atomos is, in a nutshell, to download torrents anonymously. It sounds more like a hype than anything else. Usually you can't truly download anything anonymously. There's just too many logs, too many trackers, and really all you can do is limit the risk of being noticed. And you could talk to our friend Tom Prokes about this. He knows all about it. But it's just not... Listen, you leave a footprint everywhere you go. Something you should really think about. You leave a digital footprint everywhere you go. So this has been another great episode of, I think, the PCM Tech Help Show, PCM Tech Talk Live in particular, where we talk about everything tech, and I'm glad you guys all came by. It is Monday, March 18th. But make sure you tune in tomorrow, Tuesday, March 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing this all over again in a whole different subject. We're going to be talking about everything tech. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you join the community at pcmtechhelp.com/community, because that's where I hang out and the rest of us hang out outside of the live show, and that's part of the reason we're here. And you can be a complete noob sauce all the way up to the complete epic sauce, and we will welcome you with open arms. And you can talk about how epic or noob sauce you are, and we will join in the noob saucery or epic saucery. How many times can I fit that in an episode? You want to tell me? How many times? There's not really many standing there. So as always, I want to leave you guys with this, and have yourselves a wonderful night, and make sure you tune in tomorrow and check out the website, pcmtechhelp.com. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and watch on YouTube. Make sure you like it when it comes out, and share it also with your friends and family. See you guys tomorrow.